Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to talk about the potential of an 18-game season in the NFL. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so and hit the notification bell when you do. If you're new to the channel, we do football, basketball, and we did the Olympics. And now we're going to do a lot of football videos if you're curious. If you see a lot of Caitlin Clark videos, that's because football season is too far away. We just started in April. So, Rob, what do you think the chances of the NFL eventually having an 18-game season?
I'd say there's a big chance because the bottom line for them is money. So they're definitely going to have an 18-game season.
I think it's 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that when it went to 17, it was just a question of when it was going to go to 18. Mm-hmm. And the question is logistics of it, Rob, because right now they tried starting football season one time on Labor Day weekend, and the ratings were a disaster because obviously people have family obligations and travel and all that stuff. So I don't think they can start any earlier. Plus, some places it's really hot. But they can push back the playoffs because it's cold in January and it's cold in February. What's the difference? You know, they're already playing, and it's not much difference between February and January. So they can push it back.
It's cold, yeah. February and January. In some places,
it doesn't make any difference whether you play in February or already playing in January.
So. We're from upstate New York, and usually the winters are until May, so it doesn't matter.
So the question is how do they do this? I read that the players are going to want another break in terms of a bye week. So they have two bye weeks instead of one, which the NFL owners would like because that's just another season. That'll give them 2 more weeks of games, which is 2 more weeks of television, which is where they make the most money. So I don't think the NFL owners object to that. The only thing is that'll push back the Super Bowl to the end of February instead of like the 6th or the 8th or 10th. It's going to be, in the 20s, February 20th, 25th, whatever. So it's going to push it back 2 weeks. I don't know. I guess it doesn't make much difference, Rob. You're already playing in February and January. What's the difference?
And they'll probably shorten the preseason games too, also.
The history of the NFL in preseason is interesting, and it's going to come into play here, Rob, because they got it down to 3 games. During the 60s, they had 14 regular season games, and each team played 4 or 5 preseason games. And then it went up to 6 preseason games with the merger in 1970 for some strange reason, because they wanted just another home game to get more money, I guess. So that's what they did. But they only did that for 8 years. In 1978, they lengthened the regular season to 16 games and shortened the preseason games to 4, which made a lot of sense, and everybody was happy about that. I didn't think even the players wanted 16 games. They wanted a longer season. But now, Rob, they didn't really want a longer season after that, but the NFL kind of forced the 17th game on them.
Yeah.
And when they did that, they lowered it to 3 preseason games. Now, the question is, given the history of lowering the preseason games, will they try to lower it to 2 in an effort as a compromise because they're adding the additional game of 18 games instead of 17?
They might have to. But that would put pressure on the teams to, as far as evaluating the players. They can't just sit back. They probably, like the first preseason game, they'll probably play not the people who they want to evaluate, which are probably games will be a little more exciting because the players are trying to make the team since they only have like 2 games to make the team. So
right, Rob. I think 2 preseason games is too few for the coaches and the staff, because here's the reasoning, Rob. Yeah, you're not going to play the start. You know who most of your starters are, but you don't know all your starters. So you've got starters that are close in ability, and you always have a veteran getting older and a young player coming in. You don't know who's going to be better that year, and you can't always determine that in 2 preseason games. And you also have to get your roster down. You have to get your 53 players down by August 27th right now in the NFL. But either way, you got 53, and to try to choose what players you're going to put on your roster is tough.
Right.
Even if you know most of your starters, you don't know 23 through 53. And the only way to do that is with preseason games, because your starters don't play much.
Right.
And so I think 2. Wow, I don't know, Rob, on two preseason games.
Yeah. So. What do you think about that, though, Mark? Seems like that they they hold the starters out, and then when the games start, it seems like the starters aren't ready to play in the first game. What do you think about that?
I think they're all at the same disadvantage, so it's okay. But I think that is a problem because you're really not ready to. You're not at peak performance in game one. That's true. And usually the offenses are behind the defenses, but last year was an exception.
Right.
So, because so I think that's a problem, but I don't blame them. I would just say, okay, well, when you're playing 18 games again instead of 14, a loss isn't as bad as it was before.
Right. Right.
So I think they can afford if they lose a game one because but everybody else is doing the same thing. So I guess it shouldn't be so bad. But I think inevitably we're going to have 18-game season.
I think so.
17-game season is silly. You have different home games and away games. Teams don't all have the same amount, but they're going to have 18 games. I don't mind it myself. It's the players are going to mind it, Rob.
Who doesn't like more football? It's like going to McDonald's. Who doesn't like more French fries? I mean, come on.
Right. But I think they got to cap it at 18. They can't keep going for 20 and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's too long.
It's going to be we'll be into March at that point, right? So they have to have an off season. Their bodies have to recover. So, I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but I know that the owner's going to push for 18 games in the near future. We'll see what happens. Let us know what you think when you think it's going to happen, and whether you're before an 18-game season, how you think they're going to handle it schedule-wise in the comments down below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so and hit the notification bell when you do. If you like this video, hit the like button. And we're going to go live for Caitlin Clark's game on Friday against Phoenix Mercury and Diana Taurasi, the dinosaur. And if she shows up even, it's 7:30 on ION. And we'll be live tonight, 6 to 8 Eastern. We'll talk about football and Caitlin Clark and the disaster of the gold medal game yesterday. And if you want to donate to this channel, you can by hitting Super Chats or Super Thanks, or you can also, there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.